Okay, let's be real. We're all a little tired of the AI hype, right? So let's talk about what actually matters, getting real, tangible business results. See, the path to success isn't about buying the latest, flashiest tool. It's about starting with the right question.
And this is it. Why is it that so many AI projects just fizzle out? Companies are pouring billions into this technology, but for a lot of them, that big transformation they were promised just never shows up. It's a massive, frustrating problem. But you might be wondering, just how common is it?
70%. Just let that number sink in for a second. Nearly 3 out of every 4 corporate AI initiatives failed to deliver any return on their investment. That is a staggering amount of wasted time, money, and frankly, potential. It's proof that just buying a powerful AI isn't the answer. You need a much better plan.
So what is the solution? Well, it turns out it's not about the technology itself, but the foundation you build it on. And that foundation has a name, the Integrated Process Excellence Framework, or IP. You can think of it as the operating system that actually turns AI's potential into real-world business results.
So what is IPE really? Well, in the simplest terms, it's about taking the same kind of discipline that makes a high-tech factory run like clockwork and applying it to all of your business processes. You can't build a skyscraper on a swamp, right? IPE is what drains the swamp and pours the concrete, giving your AI the clean, reliable data it needs to actually do its job.
And IEP unfolds in 4 pretty logical phases. First, you can't improve what you don't understand, so you start with process documentation. Then, once everything is documented, you make sure everyone is on the same page through communication. With that clarity in place, you can finally implement real-time measurement. And of course, that measurement gives you the data you need for genuine continuous improvement. It's this disciplined cycle that really separates success from failure.
Okay, so with our IPE foundation in place, now we can bring in the AI. And this is probably the most important mental shift you need to make. Stop thinking of AI as just one tool. You need to start thinking of it like you're hiring a team of specialists. Each AI model has a very specific job to do. So let's meet the team.
First up, leading the team, is your knowledge manager, the GPT. Its whole job is to be the company's central brain, its librarian. It reads and understands all of your process documentation, your operational manuals, all that institutional knowledge, and it makes it instantly available to anyone who needs it. This becomes the single source of truth for how your entire business runs. And if you look closely, you'll see how the GPT's job lines up perfectly with those first 2 phases of IPE. It powers the documentation phase by analyzing everything you've written down, and it drives the communication phase by letting anyone ask questions about those processes in just plain, simple English.
Next up is your deep analyst, the large reasoning model, or LRM. So if the GPT is the librarian who knows where all the information is, the LRM is the detective who can piece together complex clues. It's built for multi-step problem solving, essentially thinking a problem all the way through from start to finish. And this is exactly where the LRM powers those later phases of IPE, measurement and improvement. This is the model that does the heavy lifting of root cause analysis, figuring out why performance is dipping, or where a bottleneck is really coming from. It's the difference between treating a symptom and actually finding the underlying disease. Our third specialist is the Vision Language Model, or VLM. The easiest way to think about this one is as the team's eyes and ears out on the factory floor. It bridges that gap between the digital world of data and spreadsheets and the physical world of operations because it can actually see and understand visual information. And honestly, this capability is a total game changer. Your VLM can look at a photo of a whiteboard from a meeting, it can read a performance chart right off a monitor in the control room, or it can even digitize an old paper blueprint. It basically gives your entire AI system eyes, letting it understand your processes as they exist in the real, physical world. And that brings us to our final core specialist, the Action Agent, or the Large Action Model, LAM for short. Now, this might just be the most important member of the team because this is the one that actually gets things done. It doesn't just analyze or report. It takes the insights from the rest of the team and executes tasks directly inside your company's software systems.
So the LAM is that critical link that connects insight to execution. It's the model that can actually log into your ERP system to update an order, or file a report in your project management tool, or trigger a maintenance request in the system. It closes the loop, turning all that smart analysis into real-world action.
So the crucial point here is this. The LAM's ability to turn insights into action is what makes this entire system so powerful. It stops good analysis from just dying in a PowerPoint deck somewhere. It makes sure that the improvements the team identifies actually get implemented, which creates that cycle of real, continuous improvement we talked about.
Now, beyond that core team of 4, there are a couple of other important players you should know about. Think of these not as your star specialists, but more like essential role players that support the team's overall strategy.
First, you've got the small language models, or SLMs. These are your tactical on-the-ground experts. So you might have an SLM running on a simple camera to monitor a single production line for quality control, while the big models up in the cloud are analyzing data from the entire factory. The SLMs handle the fast local tasks, complementing the big-picture strategic thinking.
Then there's something called mixture of experts, or MO. Now, this isn't another player on the team, it's more like the strategy for how you build a team. The best analogy is a general contractor. Instead of trying to do everything themselves, they know exactly which plumber, electrician, and painter to call for each specific job. That's MO. It's an architecture that routes every query to the best mini-model for that task, making the whole system way faster and more efficient.
So, let's put this all together. When you combine that disciplined IPE framework with this specialist team approach to AI, you create this incredibly powerful engine for transformation, one that connects strategy, analysis, and most importantly, execution.
So here's how the full team lines up. You have the GPT managing the core knowledge, absolutely critical. The LRM analyzes that knowledge for deep insights, which is highly valuable. The VLM adds that real-world visual context, very important. And crucially, the LAM takes all of that intelligence and turns it into action, which is where the strategic value really comes from. Each one plays a vital role, but it's their combined power that drives true transformation.
So the biggest thing to take away from all this is that success with AI isn't about finding some single magic bullet. It's about building a disciplined process first, and then assembling the right team of AI specialists for the job. And this isn't just a cool concept, it's a practical blueprint you can use for your own AI transformation.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. Take a hard look at how your own organization is approaching AI. Are you trying to use a single general-purpose AI like a hammer for every problem? Or are you thoughtfully building a dedicated, specialist team that's designed for operational excellence? Because the answer to that question could be the difference between being in that 70% that fail and the 30% that actually succeed.